This is Sara with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make these fun little Christmas ornaments, and they're all sparkly and scrubby. And the neat thing about these is these are made with Red Heart Scrubby yarn, and so you can use them as a decoration or you can use them to scrub your dishes. It's the neatest thing. You can hang one on your bathtub or sink, and then when you're all done, just scrub that ring out or clean out that toothpaste, rinse it out, and hang it right back on the faucet. So it's festive and useful. So what you're going to need to make these fun little Christmas scrubby ornaments is you're going to need some Red Heart Scrubby yarn. And I chose these three colors, lemon, avocado, and strawberry, because they're bright and Christmassy colors. But we're going to be stitching with 2 strands. So something that I did is I took these and I also made a ball of each one so that I could work with 2 strands. You don't have to do it that way. It just made it a lot easier for me. We're going to be stitching with our H hook today. You're going to need a needle with a nice big eye to weave in your ends, because we're going to be changing colors every row just about. Although you don't have to, it's just the way I made the pattern. So we have a few ends to weave in, and of course you'll need your scissors to cut your yarns. And I just called these the Sparkly Scrubby Ornaments, and it is a brand new free pattern on my blog, and I'll have that blog link in the notes underneath the video for you, so you can pop over there and get it. But it's really, really, really easy, fun, festive, and they make great gifts and even gift tags. So gather you up your supplies and we'll get started. So we're going to begin with the center of our Christmas ornament, and we're going to do yellow in the center, and we're going to do green in row 2 and red for row 3, and then of course we'll do the yellow for the handle. And so to get started, I've got my 2 balls of yellow, and we're going to be using 2 strands for this entire project like we stated before, and my trusty H hook. Someone asked me the other day, let me push this down, what the size of this H hook is, and it's a 5 millimeter. All right, so we've got 2 strands. We're going to make our slip knot, and don't let stitching with 2 strands scare you. It's not hard. It really is easy. Just make sure you keep a hold of your yarn. And another thing I learned with working with this particular yarn is there is no stretch to it, and so you do need to stitch loosely. If you are a tight crocheter, you may want to go up to an I or maybe a J hook, because it will make it tighter. But hey, if you like it a little tighter, that's okay too. All right, so we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put 12 double crochets in this 3rd chain from the hook. So yarn over, go in there, pull up a hook, pull up a loop onto your hook. You'll have those 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. And then we're going to place 11 more double crochets in that same stitch. So that we have a total of 12 double crochets for row 1. And I chose to do it this way rather than a magic circle or making a chain of 5 and making it into a circle, because I didn't want it to be bunchy. This yarn is a little difficult to work with, and I really wanted to make it as easy as possible, especially if it's your first time working with this yarn. So we chained 3, and we're placing 12 double crochets in that 3rd chain from the hook. I stitched 12 double crochets in the 3rd chain from the hook, and now I'm going to join to the first double crochet, not the beginning chain 3, we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet. And I did it this way because I think that it's a little bit easier to find your stitches. Now if you look around these edges here, you can see the tops of the stitches, and that's what we're going to be stitching in. And when you're working with this sparkly scrubby yarn, there's lots of little hairs which make it perfect for what we're doing, but you're just going to have to kind of pay attention to the tops of these stitches because that's where we're going to be working. Now we're not going to chain 3 here because we're going to chain 3 after we do the color change. So we're going to go ahead and clip those off, and I'm going to move those over there, and I'm going to grab my next colors. We're going to use green for the next circle. So here's green, and here's my second strand of green. Now when I'm working with this yarn also, I do leave long tails because I think it makes it a little bit easier to work with. And you might think it wastes a little bit of yarn, but it really doesn't. It's not very much, it's just a little, and these scrubby yarns have a bunch of yarn on them. You can make lots of projects. So we're going to snug that down, and now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to place 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. Just make sure that you continue to stitch a little bit loose, and the first chain 3 counts our first double crochet, and then we double crocheted in the same stitch as our chain 3, and now we're going to place 2 double crochets in each of our stitches around, and make sure you go in through the tops of those stitches. We're going to yarn over and place 2 double crochets, get a little more yarn out here, in each double crochet around. And I know I've said it several times, but stitching loosely is the key to get a really nice looking project working with this scrubby yarn. And again, if you find that it's pulling in or not laying the way you want, it's a little snug, just go up a hook size or 2. Because remember, everybody has a different tension or gauge when they stitch. And I might use a H hook, and you may need a J hook. It's just up to you. And so I'm placing 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. We started with 12 double crochets. Oops, got my red yarn stuck in my green yarn. There we go. We started with 12 double crochets, and putting 2 stitches in each stitch around, we're going to end up with 24 double crochets around, placing 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. We stitched 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. We're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch. And we're changing colors again, so we're going to cut our yarns. And we'll move that green out of the way over there, and we'll grab our red. Again, 2 strands. The whole ornament, even the little tab on top, is worked using 2 strands. And you can do this with 1 strand. I just wanted it to be more compact. If you do this, it'll be the same size with 1 strand. If you do the stitches the same size, but it'll be a little bit more holy. So, if you want to stitch it with 1 strand, you certainly can. So again, we're going to join our next color in, snug that green one down, and then we're going to chain 3. And this is a practice I almost always do, is when I'm doing a color change on a row or round, I'll do the chain 3 after the color, because if I were to go around and join with the green and then make a chain of the green yarn, when we did this next round, there would be 1 stitch that was green, and unless that's the look you're going for, it doesn't work very well. All right, so this one's going to be a little bit different. What we're going to do, stick my finger through, we're going to make go ahead and make 1 double crochet going through that next double crochet. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to make another double crochet going through in between the next 2 double crochets. And let me show you on one of these so that you can get an idea of what I'm doing here. The last row is V-stitches, and you're going to be stitching your stitches in between, not in the top, but in between every 2 double crochets, all the way around. So, let me pull some more red yarn out here. So the way this will work going around, this is where we get our little texture, not texture, but our little fun stitch of our V-stitches. So you're going to chain 1, you're going to skip 2 double crochets and go in that space and place double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then you'll chain 1, and we'll do this all the way around. 1, 2 double crochets, put my finger through there so I know where to go. Go in that hole, pull up and stitch a double crochet, chain 1, yarn over and go right back in that same hole, and chain 1. Let me pull my yarn out here a little bit. And you can see the V stitches are starting to form around the edge. And I just think it makes a really cute edge, and I think it gives a little bit of just funness to it. If you wanted to do that last row with just plain double crochets, you could. And I just really like how this looks. So here's where I placed my double crochet, chain 1 double crochet. I'm going to skip the next 2 double crochets, stick my finger in there. We're going to yarn over and go right in there. It's in the space between the next 2 double crochets. So we stitch a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, going right back in that same spot, and chain 1. Well, it looks like I've got a knot in my yarn. That came out nice and easy. That doesn't happen very often. All right, so we're going to skip the next 2, go in that hole, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. And we'll do this all the way around. Every 2 double crochets, just like this one, and then we'll join when we get back around. So skip 2 double crochets, put your finger through there so you know where to go in, yarn over and double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 2 double crochets here, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all the way around. It makes this fun V-stitch design all the way around. And then when we get back up to the top, let me get my hook back in there, we're going to join to the top of the double crochet. We're just going to skip over that chain and join to the top of the double crochet. And again, we're not going to do any chaining until after we cut off our color. So we're going to move our red over, and we're going to grab our yellow again. And yes, we have a bunch of tails to weave in, and we will get to that, and I'll show you how to do that. But the next thing we need to do is we need to make the little topper on our ornament so that it looks like an ornament, although it is a really pretty scrubby at this point. So we're going to go ahead and join in our yellow again because we're going to make the ornament hanger out of yellow. Snug that down, and we're only going to chain 1. And then we're going to be stitching single crochets. And again, you're going to have to look at the top of your stitches up here so that you can see where to put your stitches. So, there we go. We're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And it might be a little bit tricky. You're just going to have to make sure you find that those top loops. And pull it through. See, I keep grabbing a red one, so we want to get there we go. 1, 2, and just in case you don't know what a single crochet is, you put your hook through your stitches, you grab a loop up, you yarn over, and you go through both those loops. So there's 3, 4, 5. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. Get a little more yarn out here, showing my messy side. And we're going to place 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, whoops, almost lost one. 3, 4, 5, chain 1 and turn. And we'll do 5 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, pull that out, 4, 5, and then we're going to tie off. Now I'm going to leave a large piece because of how I'm going to do my tie off. If you turn and you just slip stitch in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, that puts you in the center, and then you can tie off, and you can use this as your hanger for your ornament. Okay, so now we have the ornament made. We've got the tie already on there, but we need to weave in these ends. So pull those out so we can see them all. And I have this great big eyed needle, and it works really good for these. And so what I do, I take the color I'm working on, I fold it over the needle, kind of squish it up there, and then shove it through the eye. And because this has all the little hairs on it, it does make it a little bit hard for threading your needle. Now, if you have a hole here in the center, this one doesn't, you just go around those edges of that first one. Pull my yarn out there. There we go. And if you just gently tug on it, it will close that hole. Like that. I'll just go through a few more stitches. Like that. Give it a little snug tug. And clip it off. If you're going to use this as a Christmas ornament or maybe a gift tag, you don't have to do a lot of sewing in, but if you're going to use it as a scrubby and it's going to get a lot of use, make sure you really do weave these ends in really snugly. And also make sure you stay in the color of what you're doing, because if you accidentally stitch through and you can see yellow on the red or on the green, that doesn't make for a very pretty ornament. But if you just go around the circle the way that it's stitched up several times, give it a little bit of a snug pull, clip your yarn, and then sort of give it a little stretch, it makes it so that you can almost not see the stitches on either side. And that's the way you'll do all of those. I'm not going to take the time to show you all of those, but you do that all the same. And there's your ornament. Let's tuck that in so that you can see. And then if you slip stitch in the first 3 stitches and tie off, all you have to do is tie a little knot in those two strands and give it a cut, and you've got your hanger on there already. So there's the yellow, green, red one. Here's the yellow, the red, green, yellow. Here's one that looks a little different. Red on the outside, but the insides are different. And then this one. So you can do them however you want and have lots of fun. And there are other colors of Scrubbies, and so you can make them in other colors as well. So like I said, they make good gift tags. They make good, if you're going to put together a gift basket, put a few of these in there. You can hang them on a stocking on your tree, or clean the sink or bathtub with them. They're so pretty though, I don't know if I want to use them to scrub anything that's dirty. So that's our Scrubby, Sparkle Scrubby Christmas ornament.